Why are you so serious about this? It's just a game. Meanwhile, the game. Oh, I don't know if I'd even want to play this one. It's basically basketball, but with your hips. The Aztecs would try to shoot the ball into this hoop. Only problem is, if you lose the game, you're going to get your head chopped off. What a fun game. Wonder how LeBron would do if he knew these consequences. Gotta play like your life depended on it. Man, if only the Spanish didn't come and ruin all the fun. Build's first indoor toilet. Reaction from people when they learn that you poop indoors. Do you know how gross that sounds? Like, we take it for granted nowadays. But if you've only ever known about pooping outside and you hear about someone pooping inside, be like, what the f is wrong with you? Don't poop where you eat. Have you not heard the saying before? The no-no Germans could have won if they just didn't invade Russia during the winter. Meanwhile, Operation Barbarossa starting on June 22nd. Everyone always forgets this detail. They didn't start the invasion in the winter. They did start it in the summer. It just slowed way down by the winter. So funny enough, they probably should have actually invaded like at the end of winter. As a German, I just want to get this straight. The entire Western world wants us to build a huge army, march through Poland, and fight the Russians if necessary. Just writing that down so there's no misunderstandings in the future. Oh, wait, yeah. Have we fully thought this through, guys? The first two times, everyone's like, Germany, stop, please. Now we're like, ooh, can you do that again? Probably just thinking, what do you want? People in the US, we should use the metric system like Europe. Yeah, it's more advanced and civilized. Meanwhile, why Europe actually uses the metric system today? Napoleonic French noises. And, okay, that's fine, just give him the meter. Yeah, that continent kind of had to be forced to do that by a Frenchman. After the French Revolution in 1789, Napoleon tasked his French Academy of Sciences to replace the numerous, confusing units of weight with logical systems using multiples of 10. So what you're saying is we possibly need the current French president Macron to come invade us to force us to use the metric system. I mean, at this point, whatever works. I'm tired of remembering the stupid imperial system. Cody from Alt History Hub tweets, if Lincoln had noticed John Wilkes Booth, there was a possibility the people in that theater could have witnessed their president wrestle a random man and toss him off the building. Remember that Lincoln was a very good wrestler. I'd be like, screw the play, I want to watch this. POV, you're John Wilkes Booth, and you have to review a couple of exit strategy options. This is after you just oofed Abraham Lincoln. Option A, follow the same unguarded route that allowed easy access to the balcony. Or option B, leap from the second-story balcony with high risk of injury. He indeed did break his leg. Accept identification by 1,500 audience members who knew his face very well. Finally, cry out death to the tyrants after landing. When you put it like this, was he an idiot? I mean, was it one of those things where he just couldn't believe he actually did it, that his brain just stopped working, he just wanted to escape? Well, the man was an actor. He was legally obligated to be as dramatic as possible. Spanish people be like, our colonial empire was so great, you others don't compare. My brother in Christ, this poop is all you had left. We've got Equatorial Guinea and this part of Western Sahara or Morocco, and that is because they lost most of everything in America during the 1800s, and they got themselves involved in a war with the US and lost Cuba and the Philippines. So yes, by the start of World War I, the Spanish Empire had been reduced to pretty much nothing. Of course, they even eventually lost these territories in Africa. But hey, they did moderately better than the Swedish colonial empire. That's something. Or even the Knights of Malta too. Home to one of the most well-preserved Roman temples in France. Oh, this is a TikTok, but we have an Italian commenter. The French promoting France with Italian art. It must sting. Best things of France are Italian ones. Something, something, Italian noises. Italy is better. That is kind of funny the way that a lot of other countries will promote Rome and all the Roman things that they have, even if they aren't Italian. Italy wants so badly to be France's arch enemy. It's just not gonna work though, guys. Looks Greek though. British Raj was actually good for South Asia, and in reality, you guys are the ones who are hurting us. What is wrong with you, bro? Are people actually making this argument? Haha, America lost to a bunch of rice farmers. Meanwhile, cut to China, France, Vietnam, Australia, and Japan. I'm not really sure why they're doubled here. Did they lose twice to rice farmers? Okay, well, China lost those same rice farmers in Vietnam. So did France. Remember that the US just kind of took over the war for them. It originally started as the First Indochina War. I'm assuming they're including Australia because they helped us, and I guess they deserve a piece of the L, maybe? Are we referring to Japan because of the way they took it over in World War II, and then of course they lost World War II? And then finally Vietnam in the middle. Vietnam lost to Vietnam themselves, rice farmers, because of the Civil War. I think I have figured out this logic. Kicks out the Japanese, kicks out the French, goes to war with America, wins, fights off the Chinese invasion, disposes a horrifically notorious Khmer Rouge in Cambodia. Back to back, Vietnam does not get enough credit as it deserves. And this was all within a 30-year period. Do not mess starts with Nam. Your sergeant goes missing in the Union Army. He shows up again a few days later. He has a group of Confederate partisans with him. He is joining their attack against you. When did you become the baddie? The treachery of Sergeant Amy's. We surrender unconditionally. We're sick. We need leeches and hacksaws. But the Qing army was too brave to accept the surrender, and the Qing soldiers heroically slaughtered their enemies as they prayed for mercy. Oh man, wholesome story. Most humane Chinese battle? Battle of Changping. A timeline of Axis countries during World War II. Let's just start with Romania and Hungary doing clown dialogue in 1939, continuing the clown dialogue in 1940, Romania punching in 1941, meanwhile Hungary not doing so well in 1941. 1942, the two countries go into war. 1943, they both read the writing on the wall that they're going to lose this war. Romania for some reason in a business suit, and well, Hungary's continuing to fight. Romania and Hungary in 1945. Here's Finland, 1939, they're in the Winter War, still in the Winter War, still in the Winter War, 1944, celebration, they have kicked out the no-no Germans, and yes, everything's all good. Spoiler alert, they're the only ones that are gonna get a good ending by 1945. There's Japan, which is going straight demon mode in 1939, same thing 1940. These pilots are looking younger and younger here. This guy's definitely being sent to some sort of Indonesian jungle, fighting the Americans on some islands, it looks like, literally willing to oof himself for his country. And 1945, Japan is literally dying from nuclear radiation. There's Italy in 1939. Here we have a pretty okay Benito Mussolini. 1940, looking a little bit meh. I think they started to realize that they're not going to be able to recreate the Roman Empire as easily as they thought. Trying their best to hide their tears in 1941. Still fighting some wars in Africa in 1942. Things not looking good by 1943. The Americans have definitely landed in the peninsula by 1944. And yeah, they have taken a giant L in 1945. And the last one, no-no Germany. We have them going also demon mode in 1939. Yes, that is when they really started. They're still feeling fantastic by 1940 up until they invade, you know, the Soviet Union. Here we go, Blitzkrieg time, 1941. They've been taking literally nothing but dubs at this point, so you can see where they'd get the overconfidence problem. 1942, they are starting to stagnate. Their war on the Eastern Front has slowed way down. 1943, it's starting to get real cold. 1944, they know they're gonna lose. And 1945, they have surrendered. It is all over. Really love the timeline breakdown of all these Axis members. I feel like actually the inclusion of Finland, Romania, and Hungary made it really interesting, because when you look at this major world conflict from like smaller perspectives, you start seeing everything so differently. We always focus on Germany, Italy, and Japan though. We just need an updated version with Thailand, Bulgaria, and Iraq. I thought you were vermin. I've never been so wrong in my life. Ah, the poor tale of pigeons. They've actually been used throughout human history as far back as the Persians and Romans. We've even used them in recent times, like D-Day, for example. Pigeons were once a vital part of human society. They've kind of gone obsolete now, but these are technically domesticated animals. Look, we'll give you $3 million if you stay quiet about the attempted bribe and release our agent. I will accept and stay quiet if you instead give me $33 million in economic aid for Singapore. Oh, talk about based. I remember this story. Average CIA attempt to control a country gone wrong. We send secret agents to the US. They stay undercover in a Manhattan hotel. One of them likes New York City so much he takes a train to the FBI headquarters and turns himself in. Wait, come again? One of them likes New York City so much he turns himself into the FBI headquarters. I love these memes talking about how poorly the German spies were during World War II, at least compared to Soviet spies. Like, spies just, we weren't really there with like spies yet. We didn't really understand how they were supposed to function. There's actually some great podcasts about Soviet spies. One of them, like, the dude didn't talk for 3 years straight just so they can like pick up an American accent. This man was like communist James Bond. Political movements now. We have Christian Aid, moderates, conservative, labor, United Russia, enough. Versus political movement names back then, the Black Hand, the Iron Ring, Polish Beer Lovers Party. That's the greatest one I've ever heard. Also Cherry Blossom Society, Suffragettes, and the Black Hundreds. Why aren't we naming things this cool anymore? Like, it's a movement. You want more people to be a part of your movement. You gotta have a cool name. Authorites in 2020. Oh, are you a blonde-haired, blue-eyed Aryan trad girlfriend? Authorites in the 1500s. Yeah. Well, specifically in Spain. If you are from Spain, this is what happened. They were even going to try this same strategy with China as well, just marrying anyone they can get to over there. There wasn't a whole lot of marriages that was going on though in America, I'll say that. Helleno-Turkism. This is a political concept that encompasses two things: a fact of civilization between Greek and Turkish peoples, cultures, and political ideology based on the above civilization phenomenon. They want to establish Hellenic Turkish political assembly. What an absolutely cursed way to end this video off. I want them to be lovers so bad. Is that not obvious? And big thanks to my patrons.
DrewI'mYourDadBackWithTheMilkLookOutside.
Kansas was mentioned.
DoOOCHBAGGINS.
aPhatNarwhal.
Carmel
Amateur Archaeology.
DaBeautiful-MEGAN-Underwood.
Fredrik Tibblin.
Hedlund.
Without
InquisitorXarius.
Traven's annoying friend.
KirinoIsBestGirl.
LuxembourgLover.
RyeThePie.
I love
Tambre.
the Mexican 760.
And ZaneyBoi.